Have you ever noticed how we talk about the market like it's some all-knowing, all-seeing force? The market decided. The market reacted. You can't fight the market. We've given an economic system the characteristics of a deity. And the scariest part? We don't even realize we're worshiping at its altar.
Let's start with how we actually describe markets in everyday language. The market is omniscient. It supposedly knows everything. Efficient market hypothesis tells us all available information is already baked into prices. The market knows what your company is worth. It knows the future value of every asset. The market is infallible. When it crashes, we don't say the market was wrong. We say we didn't see it coming. When bubbles burst, the narrative becomes we failed to read the market correctly, not the market failed to price things correctly. And here's the kicker. The market is self-correcting. Just like how religious thinking claims divine justice eventually prevails, market ideology insists that any interference only delays the inevitable rightness of market outcomes. Sound familiar? We've created an invisible hand that's starting to look a lot like the hand of God.
But a God complex requires worshipers, and that's where we come in. We perform daily rituals, checking stock prices, obsessing over GDP growth, refreshing our portfolios. These aren't just habits, they're acts of devotion to market logic. We've developed a priesthood, too. Economists, analysts, and CEOs who claim to interpret the market's will. They speak in tongues. Quantitative easing, fiduciary duty, shareholder value. Languages designed to sound objective, but really just reinforce the system's authority. And we sacrifice at this altar constantly. We sacrifice environmental sustainability for market efficiency. We sacrifice workers' stability for market flexibility. We sacrifice long-term community health for short-term market gains. The theology is simple. The market must be appeased. When regular people suffer, layoffs, unaffordable housing, medical bankruptcy, the answer is always the same. That's just the market working. As if market outcomes are natural laws rather than human choices embedded in human systems.
But here's what happens when your God has a God complex. It becomes unaccountable. 2008 financial crisis? The market corrected itself. Translation: millions lost homes and jobs, but the system's fundamental righteousness was never questioned. Pharmaceutical companies pricing insulin at 1,000% markup? The market sets the price. As if demand for life-saving medication is the same as demand for luxury watches. Climate change accelerating while fossil fuel stocks soar? The market will innovate solutions. Eventually. Maybe. If it's profitable. The God complex means the market is never wrong, only our faith is insufficient. We need to deregulate more, privatize more, trust more. Any failure is blamed on interference with market purity, never on the market itself. This is fundamentally religious thinking dressed up in economic jargon.
So how do we break this spell? First, recognize that markets are tools, not truth delivery mechanisms. They're human constructs that reflect our values, biases, and power structures. They don't discover objective value. They produce value based on who has money and what they want. Second, understand that the market doesn't want anything. It's not an entity. When someone says the market demands, they really mean people with capital demand, or The current rules incentivize. That's a very different statement. Third, remember that we designed markets, which means we can redesign them. Every rule, every regulation, every property right is a choice. The market isn't natural law. It's a massive collective agreement that we can renegotiate. The question isn't whether we interfere with markets. We always do, constantly, through laws and institutions. The question is, who do we design markets to serve?
The market doesn't have inherent wisdom. It has no moral arc. It's not testing us or teaching us lessons. It's a system, a powerful one, but just a system. And the moment we stop treating it like a god, we can start treating it like what it is, a tool that should serve human flourishing, not the other way around. So here's my question for you. What's one area where you've noticed market logic being treated as divine revelation? Drop it in the comments. Because the first step to killing a God complex is realizing you never needed a God in the first place.